Hello, and today I'm going to show you how to make a line grid template in Adobe Illustrator. In a previous tutorial, I've shown how to make a dot grid template using a pattern swatch in Adobe Illustrator, but for this tutorial, we're not going to be using that method. However, if you did want to use a pattern to make your grid template, that will totally work just as well as this. For this tutorial, I'm going to make my grid 1/2 centimeter squared. And I've already got my template, my artboard set up. So this is an A4 landscape artboard. And like I said, my grid is going to be 1/2 centimeter square. You might want to do a different size. So whether that's a different size paper or a different size grid, that will completely work for this tutorial. My sizes are just for the purposes of demonstrating, and it's also what I personally like writing on. To start off with, we're going to make a rectangle. So we're going to go to the rectangle tool, and then I'm going to click to get exact dimensions. Now, because my grid is 1/2 centimeter, these two numbers are both divisible by that. If you're doing a grid like 0.7 centimeters or 0.4, then you want to make sure both the width and the height are divisible by that number, so you end up with perfect squares. So with that, I'm going to click OK, and that will create my rectangle. Swap back to the Move tool. I'm just going to center this over my artboard. You can also use the Align part of the Properties panel to make sure that is perfectly lined up. Next, I'm going to go Object, Path, and then Split into Grid. And this doesn't have a shortcut assigned, but you absolutely can edit your shortcuts to assign a shortcut to this tool. For my grid, I just need to double the centimeters. So for number of rows, I want 44, and number of columns, I want 62. We can't see anything because I haven't clicked Preview. And if I turn that on, you can see our grid. So I'm going to click OK. And right now, my grid has a white fill and a black background. So I'm just going to remove the fill by hitting / on my keyboard. You can also use this button here that says None when you hover over it to remove the fill. You just want to make sure that your fill is on top of the stroke for that. This is what I'm currently looking at for my grid, and I don't really love how thick the lines are. So I'm just going to select that all again, and for the stroke, I'm going to pop that down to 0.25 points. So that's what that looks like. If I wanted to see what this looks like on paper, we can go View and then find Trim View. Now, I've assigned a shortcut W to that, but you probably won't have a shortcut for this. That's what it looks like there. And I can just go View and then Trim View again to get out of it. It also will turn off automatically if you were to switch to the Artboard tool. Now that I'm happy with this, I could either select it all and then copy and paste it to bring it into Adobe InDesign, or we could export it as a PDF or an EPS to bring into Adobe InDesign. To do that, we'll just go File, Save As, and we can select an EPS or a PDF from our dropdown. I'm going to select a PDF, click Save, and I'm just going to leave all of this as is, save PDF, and then I can bring that into Adobe InDesign if I need to, but I can also make changes directly in here. You can also absolutely save it as an Adobe Illustrator file and embed that, and then when you update it, you'll have to relink the file in InDesign. So that's how we make a grid tutorial. From here, you could customize it further. For example, you could do a dashed line instead of an outline for the stroke. So if we turn on dashed line, it's going to be a bit hard to see with our current stroke thickness, so we could turn that up while we're working on it and zoom in a bit. So that's what we're currently looking at. It says 12 points. We could turn that down to 6 points if we want to. And then I'm just going to tick the stroke down. And then we have these little crosshairs that you might like to have instead of just a thick line. You can also customize this a lot further by choosing different stroke styles or different colors, But that is it for this tutorial. If you like that tutorial, make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon.